Oh, I'm nervous, Roni. So we are going to look at a vehicle that I first bought around 2000. And I gotta dig back through the old memory banks, but I'm pretty sure that this truck has the first engine that I ever built in my life. Yep, Roni, we're going to look at the rig that I had in high school 20 years ago. You ever leave a note card in there that says, hey, call me if you ever want to sell this? All right, we're a few blocks out. I know it's gonna be rough. Some things have happened. Okay, said it's gonna be behind the fence. Here we go. Okay. I don't know if this guy's gonna be cool with filming and I can't see it, so let's see what we got and then I'll bring you guys back.
What do we got going on here, Dad?
The landmark winch is what this is called. This is what you do when you don't have a winch on your trailer. We just bought a high school truck. A little worse for wear. You go way by the white pickup, Ronnie. Okay. Got it loaded without any dramas. Oh, I'm so tempted to get it running like tomorrow because I know it would be so easy, but I got to work a little bit tomorrow and I got other stuff going on, so it's just gonna get shoved in the backyard for a little while. But this is the most excited I've been about a vehicle purchase in a long time. let's go through a little quick history on the truck real quick and kind of its current state and condition. So I bought this truck. It's definitely the first Ford that I owned. I can't remember if it's the first truck I owned, but I bought it in high school. I was either 16 or 17 years old. Bought it from the second owner technically, but the guy's son, he was an older guy, his son had actually bought it new, used it to pull a camper. It had a camper shell on it, stock hubcaps, some awesome pinstriping, old man like altimeter gauges and stuff on the inside, full on old man spec. Big old bug deflector on the front. You can still see the ghost of the pinstriping because I removed it and I didn't totally know what I was doing. I didn't know what a 3M eraser wheel was at that point in my life. It was completely 100% stock. And I guess I should say what this is. It's a 78 Ford F-150, four-wheel drive, regular cab short box. It has a stock 400. They're not a 400M, it's just a 400. Same engine family as the 351M though, which is basically a tall deck Cleveland, which is what makes them awesome. They're not so awesome in stock form. It has an NP435 transmission. So those things are like bulletproof. Obviously, 9-inch rear end, 350 gears, Dana 44 front end, high pinion, 350 gears. So that's what it is as, oh, it's got an NP, I believe it's 205 transfer case. I can't remember between 205 and 203 which one is the part-time. It's the part-time one. It's always had hubs on it. It was never full-time. That's like the dream truck in the first place. A regular cab short box 4-wheel drive, biggest V8 engine you could get in this half-ton this year. It was stone stock when I bought it, mechanical wise. It had some awesome old man accoutrements on it, but completely stock. It had about 60 or 70,000 miles on it. I think when I bought it, around 2000. I was 16 or 17 years old. I was still in high school. So I drove it through high school and did a few little things. I had like 3 different roll bars on the back, like with KC daylighters. And my dad actually bought me this very grill guard for Christmas one year, I believe. He was buying one for one of his pickups and he bought me that one too. It's got a blue interior. The seat's covered up right now, but under here it looks just like an SOS pad for some reason. Two-tone blue door panels, which are awesome. I used to have a T-handle shifter on it. Interestingly enough, that's not the one I had. He swapped it out for a different one. Had a vinyl floor mat. It's pretty chewed up, you can see. But anyway, it had about 70,000 miles on it. I drove it through high school, drove it to college, drove it at my first job that I had after college, back and forth from southern to northern Wyoming a bunch of times as I was living in southern Wyoming. And then what happened was I had a power valve failure on a carb, and I was on a trip and I didn't know any better. It was running super rich and just blowing black smoke, and basically what happened is it washed the bearings. Because later I had a rear main seal leak. I fixed the carburetor, but then later when I was fixing the rear main, I popped the cap off and the bearings were pretty toasted. So I decided to rebuild the motor. And let's check the receipts here. Looks like that was in 2003 that I decided to rebuild the motor. I have all the receipts and everything, which I gave when I sold it, and they were all given back to me along with my card that says, if you're ever gonna sell this, call me. How awesome is that? So real quick, when I rebuilt it, I thought, well, let's do some stuff. I already had an Edelbrock intake on it, 4-barrel, the Edelbrock Performer. So the engine, the 400, is now bored 20 over. It has a comp dual energy 255 cam. It's got Dynamax headers, which are terrible. Don't do those. 2.5-inch dual exhaust that we did at the old shop that I worked at. My boss actually bent it up. It has Thrush, the long glass packs. They're like 28 inches long. What else did we do on it? It has a comp timing set, so it's got straight up timing, which makes a big difference on these. The stock heads were just totally rebuilt, new guides, seats, and all that stuff, new springs. At that time too, I went ahead and I got a 4-inch Skyjacker soft ride suspension lift, which is springs in the front and add a leaf in the rear. It has radius arm drop brackets. They give you nothing to do with the track bar in the front. So what I did, you can see I made a spacer there for the steering stabilizer to keep it level. It did have a drop pitman arm, but you can see right back there, I have a bracket which drops the track bar down, and that is a Trailmaster bracket because the shop I worked at the time sold Trailmaster lift kits. And I do not like Trailmaster lift kits. I like Skyjacker, but I took their bracket and did it because I think Skyjacker told me, well, you can cut and lengthen that bar. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So it has a Milodon, like big 8-quart oil pan on it because the original one had been gashed open and welded at some point, and it still leaked a little bit. So it was pretty rust-free when I sold it. It had some of this kind of stuff starting where the paint's all crazed. This is original paint, by the way. Totally original. So it's getting rusty over the fender wells. And in the back of the bed, these braces up under here are getting rusty. This side is even worse, fender well, and then the back here. And this right here, you probably saw in the earlier videos, is where it got into an argument with a dump truck, apparently. This was when the guy 2 owners after me had it. So, it needs a cab corner, it needs a door. I already have a door right back there. We'll get into that on the next episode. And it needs some rocker work. So, the floor is buckled a little bit right here. Inner, outer rocker are both messed up. My plan with this is to pull it out as much as I can, straighten it out as much as I can, and then cut out and replace rockers, cab corner, all that stuff, and fix this up. So the guy I sold it to even saved this October. Took me a while to figure it out. 2006. It had the ad for the truck in here. See if I can find it. Right there. What was I asking for it? Yep, over $8,500 invested. We all know how that goes. Did I not have a price on there? $64.99. I think I sold it for $5,500. So anyway, a lot of first things with that truck. First Ford I ever owned. It's kind of what planted the seed of this whole thing. Me and my wife went on our first date in that truck when we were dating. That's the truck I had when we were first married. I did end up selling it before we had any kids, so there's nothing there, but now it's going to create new memories with them. So I hope you're interested. Hope this grabs your attention. It's not just any revival. It's a very special one for me because of the history. And in this episode, we're just going to get it running and driving. There's a box of spare parts that came with that I also gave. This is the pile of receipts I gave when I sold the truck. Anyway, in this episode, we're just going to get it running and driving, take it on a little test drive. The next episode, we're going to work on fixing the crash damage and getting it a little more roadworthy so that we can actually drive this thing around through the summer, and we'll see where it goes from there. It's going to get a full restoration is where it's headed, but let's have some fun with it first. Wow. Never ever did I ever think I would be reviving a vehicle that I built almost 20 years ago. So let's get to it. I don't have a lot of time here, but I'm going to go ahead and get the carb off. The gas is putrid. And the kid had tried to crank it over before I picked it up yesterday, and there was fuel dripping out of the accelerator pump, so the carb needs a carb kit at the least. I smelled the gas in the gas tank, and it's also putrid, so we're going to rebuild the carb first, and we're going to show you all the things to do when you're reviving a vehicle. All the things to check and do before you go ahead and fire it up. that was a wrestling match. Vacuum hoses did not want to come off. Watch out, Luke. Is there even anything in there? Nope. Bone dry. Okay, Holley carburetors are very simple beasts. This is a vacuum secondary electric choke Holley. It has metering blocks on the back, so it's a 4150 style, I think. And I believe it's a 650 CFM. You'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong. It was like 20 years ago. So let's get this pulled apart and see what the inside of the bowls look like. Well, that's not as bad as I was expecting. There's really not a lot of crud in there. I guess the ethanol did not have time to totally rot everything. Well, that vacuum plug is cooked. I might get away with just new bowl and metering plate gaskets and clean it real good. And of course the accelerator pump is, oh, that boy is cooked. It doesn't even have any yeah, it doesn't even move. So this might be a pretty simple rebuild. I'll come back with you when we got it all the way apart. There you go, easy peasy. That's probably as apart as it needs to come. It was really pretty clean on the inside. I just think the rubber stuff got ruined from the nasty gas that's in there. Even the needle and seat look okay. The needle and seats. Huh. Wonder why that rear one has a different float than the front one. Weird. One's plastic, one's brass. As long as those still float, I guess I didn't think about that. Should pop those out, those floats, and make sure they float. Otherwise, that's gonna be an issue. It almost had no gas in it, so most of it evaporated, so that probably actually kind of saved it. So I should be able to clean this real good, take the jets and the other needle and seat and stuff out, clean everything really good, put it back together with some new gaskets, new needles and seats, possibly a new power valve if they have one. That one's a 6.5, which is probably not stock, but I remember doing some power valve tuning with this thing, so should be pretty good. And then we should be ready to check things over and fire this sucker. Hopefully parts stores still have Holley carburetor gaskets and stuff. I think they do, right? Okay, real quick before I go dump this out, this was clean when I put all the carburetor parts in there. Now there's more aggressive stuff you can use, but it will also take the coating, the zinc or whatever kind of coating that is, off of the carb bowls. This did not need that amount of crazy wicked cleaning. It was just a little greasy and just carbon buildup and residue from backfires and stuff like that. So this is just my own concoction of thinners and gasoline and stuff like that. It worked pretty good. So there's all the parts. They just need a final blow off and they'll be ready for assembly. I'm gonna go dump this out and make sure I didn't miss any parts in there. even styled it with some clear sight glass plugs. Okay, while the carburetor parts soak in cleaner and various solvents, we're going to assess this engine that I built 17, 18 years ago and see how well it's held up. Okay, most old school pushrod V8 Fords, actually most old Ford engines are going to be either 15/16 or 7/8 on the crank snout. I can't remember which, so we'll have to figure this out together. We're going to figure out if it rolls over freely, since it's been sitting for about a year and a half. It should. Okay, so the 15/16 fits. I might even be able to rotate this by the fan. Either way, we'll show you how to rotate it by the crank. Oh, she won't rotate by the fan, which is good. Oh, you know what? It's probably in gear. Okay, maybe now she'll rotate by the fan. Still no. Which is good. That means it has compression, and it is a 15/16, so I just got a 1/2 inch ratchet, a little 3-inch extension. That gets you enough room in between the fan. Oh, I can hear it making compression, so that's a good sign. What is that? Oh, that's that leaf that I threw. Okay, we're about half a revolution, and now somebody's calling me. Okay, I made a couple revolutions around, you should have good resistance, and you should hear hissing from the engine. That's making compression. I don't know if you can hear that. It should get a little hard and then easier, a little hard and then easier. That's the engine making compression. So this feels great, which I expected it to, because it's only been a year and a half or so, he said, since it got parked. So now we're going to zip out the spark plugs, take a look at those, and put just a little bit of oil in the cylinders. And I know this isn't a 30-year barn find, but you can definitely see there's been some critters have moved in and stuff like that. See the nice spider web down there? So let's zip those spark plugs out and have a look. They should really be changed every 25,000-30,000 miles or so. So yeah, they're pretty cooked. So the plan is to just get this thing running, assess what parts it needs, and then go from there. And then what I would like to do, yep, she's blacker than my soul also and worn. Then I would like to do is do basically a mechanical restoration and fix the body damage and rust, and then get set up to get ready for paint. Yep, black, worn. I will say though, I popped the cap and looked at the cap and rotor on the distributor, and yeah, they must be, they built some quality stuff. 'Cause that's 20 years old, and looks like it's only been on there a year or two on the inside. Yep, they're just like the other side, pretty toasty. Number 4 for some reason had, looks like fresh anti-seize on it, or at least more than the rest of them. So let's get a little oil in the cylinders and we'll let it soak for a while. All right, got an old battery out of my Super Crew that's been sitting on the shop floor for 6 months. Let's give that a try. Is that? That's probably ground. That is the longest. What in the? Okay. Ooh. Oh. Something did stuff and things. We'll see if she has enough juice to crank over and build some oil pressure. It's got oil in it, so good enough to fire it up anyway. So crank it over till it has oil pressure. I went with my better judgment and I did get new plugs. Those old ones are just cooked. So crank, oil pressure, plugs in, start. Okay, big moment. We have lightage. Okay. Now, spark plugs are still out and we have no fuel in the carburetor. Oh, so nothing? We got nothing, okay. That battery does not sound real strong. She's going down. She's going down. Yeah, go ahead. Do that if you want to. What's our fuel situation? Is it empty? God, I hope so, because I'm gonna have to pull that tank out. All right, jumper pack. Jumper box engaged. that's gonna be about all we have, so I think we're gonna just have to give her a try. Okay, we've got fresh Motorcraft 42 spark plugs in there, a jug of gas hooked up to the suction side of the fuel pump. We're gonna see if we can get this thing to light off. I hope the jumper pack can hold out. Okay, jumper pack is on. Let's... Nope, I gotta sit you down for a minute. Okay, if it's in neutral, you do not have to push the clutch in. Just make sure she's in neutral. Give her hell. Come on, baby. Oh! Okay, go again. Next door is gonna love that. Oh boy, she is sucking her down already. It sounds louder. I think them glass packs are a little burned out. Yeah. She's alive, baby. Sounds pretty good. What's that, honey?
Yeah. Neighbors.
Yeah, they love it. You're welcome, everybody. Okay, moment of truth. Here's the gas tank out of the 78. Let's see how bad it is. Right after, oh, there it is. Right after I grab my light. So this truck had a fuel delivery issue when I previously owned it, like below a quarter tank. So there might be nefarious things going on in here that have been going on for a long time. No? Come on. What did I do with my... Oh, it's crusty. Oh. Yeah, no sock. And no float. Ooh, yeah, that's no good. That is the ethanol nastiness. Crap. Or is that the sock? No, that's not. That can't be right. What in the flying? So there should be a sock, like 2 or 3 inches long, that hangs down off of there. This should have a float in it. Okay, so I put 2 small jugs of CLR and almost a gallon of water in there for about a half a day. So let's see what we got. I mean, we definitely got some crud floating up. So now what I'm gonna do is get some nails and bolts and stuff, throw them in there and rattle them all around, shake it all around real good, and then dump it out, rinse it out really good with some water. Here's the old float. She's just a little crispy. It's a good thing that I went ahead and got a whole new deal, because that's what ethanol does, people. It's not terrible stuff, don't get me wrong, but... And there's where the filter goes. That's where the float should go. And then, somewhere around here, I still had the little dang piece of filter. I can't find it. The filter's totally gone though. So I just wanted to show you that before I snip this off and use this guy for a kind of a plug in there while I shake it all up. Okay, we're using Vicky as a workbench here. We're running out of room. So this is what we got from Jeff's Bronco graveyard. Let's turn that around. I was able to fish out the remnants of this strainer sock. There's the screen that's supposed to be attached to it. I got the gas tank reasonably clean, i.e. about as clean as I can make it. You see I still got a little bit of rust there on the bottom, but I did what I could. It shouldn't clog anything up. The eventual plan is probably for a new gas tank anyway. So this guy was not in the best shape either. Where the part where it went on the tank is all kinds of cracked. Yeah, look at that. So this is what we got. New filler hose. Vent hose is down there inside of it. And we got sending unit O-ring and this dude, which I already had to use because I lost the other one. I used that to hold the old filter in there. This is a quality unit here. This is going to be the sending unit float assembly. That's what it should look like. Notice how it's nice and shiny. The float doesn't make any nasty scraping noises. And the float is not all crispy like the other one was. So let's get that in there. I'm gonna measure this fuel line real quick. I think that's 3/8, which if it is, that should be pretty future proof for the plans for the truck. So let's measure that real quick and we'll get her in there. Okay, I think we're all ready to go in. Fresh filler and vent hose, new sending unit, clean tank-ish, and new biofuel / ethanol resistant fuel line. Haven't quite figured out this little guy. I know it's supposed to squish it flat, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we are now officially sucking gas out of the gas tank. Make sure I got those guys tight. And oil filters on. New oil filters on. And I don't know if you can see it there, but there was a little bit of sparkly not good in the oil filter. So we will dig into that when we get back from our test drive. I got stuff to change the oil. We're gonna dump it and see what it looks like, and then go for a test drive, hopefully. She's a little ticky. Kind of sounds like under the valve covers, which ain't good. So let's get the oil out and see what she looks like. There are plenty of exhaust leaks though. So I had to go grab a milk crate because I haven't had a lifted pickup for quite a while, so I forgot about how this lifted pickup life goes. Just looks like oil. The double copper washers on there aren't real confidence inspiring. Just looks like black oil. I tried to get just smells like oil. So we might be okay. See this up here? These headers leak in so many places and rub the frame and are just garbage. They're going away. They're going away. And we might have a little surprise coming for this old dude too. That's a Milidon like 8-quart oil pan, so we're gonna be here a while. And as I was looking for a replacement stock oil pan, I remembered why I got that oil pan in the first place. And that's because nobody makes a stock replacement rear sump oil pan for these, only the front sump ones. So there you be. It's pretty cool looking at all this stuff that I modified almost 20 years ago. See this, Bryce? Why do you think there's a bracket here and then another one bolted here that kicks it down?
Because you did that.
Why though? Why would I do that?
No clue.
Turn the camera to that front spring up there. See how that coil spring is bright red?
Yeah.
You think that's a factory Ford part?
No.
No. This pickup's lifted 4 inches. So those coil springs lift it 4 inches higher. So this bracket drops this arm right here down 4 inches lower, so that otherwise it would be pointed way uphill and it would be too short. Well, I don't see anything too alarming in there. We gotta see if we can find a washer though, because these guys are toast. All right, this is what we're going with for the first time. Some of Walmart's finest 1030 and some Hyperlube for what I'm guessing is zinc. Reading the bottle, it sounds like it. Just cheap Walmart stuff. There's another jug in there because this beast takes like 9 quarts. So we'll see how that goes. And if things are looking good, we'll do another oil change here in a little while with some better oil. Bring back memories?
Yes, it does.
Oh, hello. Okay, third gear for the first time. The clutch is all kind of wacky.
That doesn't sound great.
Any exhaust leaks. Oh boy, she's all over the road too. It's front end's kind of pretty sloppy. Pretty vague.
Oh god.
Do you think it still does a burnout?
I don't know.
Brakes are good.
Oh, well, that's good.
God, it's loud. Oh, whoa. We got wildlife in here. And the clutch is like way too easy to push. It's weird feeling like it's like wham to the floor. You think you'll be able to do it without getting sick?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if she'll lay a little rubber. Let's give it the beans, all of them. It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. Oh, I hope that was a backfire. That was something falling off. Ooh, lots of vibration. And it doesn't feel like tires either. It feels like the drive line. There's all kinds of stuff flying around in here.
Yeah, there is.
Did it get in my water?
Probably. Yep, yeah, there is Oh, cool.
It's loud. It still feels strong. I just think that it's probably every bit as fast as it used to be. It's just I had not driven faster things at that point in my life. Okay. So this is how you do a burnout in a manual transmission. Hopefully we can get them both going. Now that we popped over the border real quick here to Canada. So what you got to do is kind of dump the clutch. It's been years since I've done this, and then slam on the brakes and power brake it as if you would an automatic. Let's see. Okay. Gotta hold your tongue right. Woo. Okay, now you're gonna drive. Oh, in case we get pulled over, so I can say that was you.
What is happening?
Jesus, woman, don't you mean a Chinese fire drill?
Like, what the hell?
Are you new here?
Oh, Lord.
Hurry up, Chelsea, the cops are coming.
They are not. Hold that.
Oh God. Hey, why don't we pour it down the defroster for old time's sake?
It wasn't pop. It wouldn't work.
Is there still, is that still the stain?
Probably.
There?
Yes, I believe it is.
All right, hit it.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
I told you. Oh, the e-brake's on. But the clutch is all weird. I don't know what's going on with that.
God. Yeah, it's like
I know,
catches right now.
I don't know what's.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You don't use first gear, do you?
No, that was second gear. You started it.
No, it was first gear.
Oh, it was. Okay. Yeah, you don't use first gear.
Oh, we're doing 60. We're doing 100. Wow, I have never seen it go all the way around.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah,
A lot of things are messed up. But we paid less than half of what I sold it for. And these trucks are arguably worth more money now than they were then.
Well, it's less than half the truck we sold it.
Ah, that's true. There's not a fifth gear.
There's no fifth gear.
Yeah, because there's only 4.
I forgot about that.
You feel that vibration though when you let off? It's nasty.
Yes, I do.
It's probably that drive shaft just flopping around. Still not bad though. I think this engine could be good for a future project if it doesn't stay in here. As long as it's healthy.
Yeah.
It seems to be. Seems healthy. I mean, the rest of the truck's kind of falling apart, but the engine I built is pretty good. All right. There you go. How long has it been since we drove this truck? 15 years? So we've been married, it'll be 16 years.
Yep.
In July.
So 14 years?
14 or 15.
15, yeah.
I wanted to say, well, it was well before Bryce was born.
Yeah.
I think it was around 07 or 08 that we sold it.
Well, then that would be 13 or 14 years.
Yeah. was 07, which should be 13 years. So there you go, 13 years since we've driven in this truck together. She's a little rough, but we know how to fix that around here. I'm not sure exactly how this happened.
Yeah, the hole?
In the steering column.
Yeah.
It looks like tweakers tried to steal it, but the ignition is not in there. It's down here. But I mean, tweakers will do tweaker things.
Oh, fudge.
That's a whole lot of gears, Chelsea.
Oh, God.
Oh, this lady's calling us in for sure. See that lady back there? She is not impressed.
Whatever, she's been on my butt, so she can suck it.
But this has that bumper where you just brake check somebody and then it's their problem.
Yeah.
Just kidding, don't do that, kids. All right, thanks for watching.